The shuttle landed on Orion 6 with a soft hiss. The ground of the distant moon was covered with dark green moss that glowed faintly, making the entire landscape look like a dream. Ravi, a young explorer, stepped out of the craft, his boots sinking slightly into the soft surface. He looked around in awe. The air was light, filled with a strange humming sound, almost like the moon itself was alive. The research team had come to collect data on the glowing rivers and strange planets of Orion 6. It was one of the rare moons that could support life. Ravi, though new to space missions, had volunteered for this trip. He was curious and fearless by nature. The beauty of Orion 6 amazed him. Trees with silver leaves stretched towards the sky, filled with two suns and a ring of stars. "Stay close to the scanners," said his teammate from behind. But Ravi's eyes were drawn to a faint light deeper in the forest. It was not like the natural glow of the plants. It flickered softly, as if someone was moving. His curiosity got the better of him. Without saying anything, he stepped away from the group, walking toward the light. Each step took him deeper into the silent forest. The humming sound grew louder, but in a strange way, it felt like it was calling him. After a few minutes, Ravi realized he could no longer hear his team's voices. He turned around, but the way back was lost behind thick silver leaves and glowing vines. He frowned but kept moving forward, following that mysterious light. The forest opened into a small valley. The ground here was covered with flowers that shimmered like tiny stars. And there, standing in the middle of the valley, was a girl. Ravi froze. She was not human. Her skin was pale, almost shining with a soft light, and her hair flowed like strands of silver threads. Her eyes were large and bright, like to tiny moons. She wore no suit like the humans, but instead, a dress made of thin, glowing fabric that moved like water around her. She looked fragile, but there was something powerful about her presence. The girl turned and saw him. For a moment, her expression was unreadable: surprise, fear, and something else he couldn't name. She took a step back, as if ready to run. Ravi raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "Don't be afraid," he said in a calm voice. "I'm not here to hurt you." The girl tilted her head, as if studying him. She blinked once, and then spoke in a voice so soft that it blended with the forest wind. "You should be afraid of me." Ravi blinked, startled. Her voice carried no anger, but it was filled with warning. It was not the kind of warning someone gives to protect themselves. It was the kind of warning given to protect someone else from danger. "I don't understand," Ravi said, taking a careful step closer. The girl didn't move, but her eyes darkened slightly, glowing faintly. "Leave before it is too late," she said. "Too late for what?" Ravi asked. He could feel his heart beating fast, but not out of fear, out of curiosity. There was something in her voice, something almost lonely. The girl turned slightly, looking toward the deeper part of the valley. "They are watching," she whispered, as if speaking to herself. "They always watch." Ravi frowned, scanning the trees around them. He saw nothing but the glowing plants and still air. "Who's watching?" The girl looked back at him, her silver eyes reflecting his own face. "Dark ones, hunters. If they find you near me, you will not survive." Ravi felt a chill, but he stood his ground. "Then come with me. I can take you to my team. We can help you." The girl shook her head slowly, her silver hair shining like threads of light. "No human can help me. Not even you. Leave now." Her words were firm, but there was a softness in her gaze. Ravi realized she was not trying to scare him away because she hated him. She was trying to protect him from something she believed was dangerous. Ravi took another step forward. "Listen, I don't care who these hunters are. I don't like leaving someone alone when they're in danger." Something flickered in her expression. Surprise again, and a hint of emotion he couldn't name. For a moment, she looked less like an alien and more like a lost girl who had seen too much pain. "You are strange," she said softly. "Humans are always afraid. But you come closer even when I tell you to run. Maybe that's just who I am," Ravi said with a small smile. "What's your name?" The girl hesitated, as if the question was unusual. Then, in a whisper, she said, Era, Era, Ravi repeated, testing the sound of it. I'm Ravi, and I think we're supposed to meet. Maybe I found you for a reason. Era's eyes softened for a moment, but then she glanced toward the trees again. Her posture stiffened. They are coming, she said. Her voice trembled slightly, but not from fear. From certainty. Ravi's ears caught a faint noise too, like a distant hum growing louder. It was not the same as the forest hum. This one was mechanical. Cold. Era looked at him with urgency. If you stay here, they will find you, and I will not be able to stop them without. She stopped, biting her lip as Ravi stood frozen, trying to understand Era's warning. The humming sound in the distance was growing sharper, almost like the rumble of engines. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The glowing flowers swayed slightly, though there was no wind. What's coming? Ravi asked in a low voice, his heart pounding. Era's gaze was fixed on the tree line. Her silver eyes reflected the faint light like mirrors. The hunters, she whispered. They did not stop until everything is gone. You cannot fight them. Even I can barely hold them back. Ravi clenched his fists. Then let's run. My team is not far. We can get to the shuttle and leave. Era shook her head. If they see me with you, they will follow. They will hunt you across the stars. They hate my kind. Ravi stared at her. She looked so fragile, standing in that valley with fear in her eyes, yet he sensed something deeper, a storm of power beneath that calm surface. Then I'll help you hide, he said firmly. I'm not leaving you here. Era's expression softened, almost like she was confused. Why, you don't know me. I told you I'm dangerous. Maybe you are, Ravi said, taking a step closer, but I can see you're alone. No one deserves to face danger alone. Before Era could reply, the humming sound turned into a harsh metallic whir. From between the silver trees, dark shapes emerged 3 machines floating slightly above the ground. They were black, sharp-edged, with glowing red lenses scanning the area. They moved like predators, silent but deadly. Era's breath caught. They found me, she said, her voice trembling. You must go. Ravi looked at the machines, then back at her. I'm not leaving you. Era closed her eyes for a brief moment, and when they opened, they glowed brighter. The ground beneath her feet started to shimmer as if alive. The flowers around her pulsed with light. Stay behind me, she said softly. But there was no fear in her tone now. It was as if a different side of her had awakened. The machines detected movement and released a burst of red scanning beams. One of them beeped sharply and aimed a weapon-like device at Era. Ravi ducked behind a thick tree, but he kept his eyes on her. Era lifted her hand slightly, and the air itself seemed to ripple. With a sudden flash of white light, the ground shook, and a wave of energy shot forward. It struck the first machine, knocking it backward into the trees, where it crashed with a metallic shriek. Ravi's mouth fell open. He had never seen power like that before. The other 2 machines immediately targeted her. Firing pulses of energy, Era moved with a strange grace, almost floating as she dodged the attacks. Then, with another motion of her hands, the vines from the forest floor came alive, wrapping around one machine and crushing it like a paper shell. The third machine tried to retreat, but Era's eyes glowed like twin stars, and a sphere of light appeared between her palms. She released it, and the machine exploded into fragments, scattering sparks across the valley. When it was over, the forest became silent again. Only the faint hum of the plants remained. Ravi slowly stepped out from behind the tree, his heart racing. You just destroyed them like they were nothing. Era's hands were trembling. She lowered them, breathing hard, her glow fading. I told you, she said quietly, I'm not safe for you. My power is not always under control. If I lose focus, I can destroy more than just machines. Ravi approached her carefully. But you saved me. You could have let them attack, but you didn't. Era looked at him with a hint of sadness. I didn't save you for your sake alone. If they had captured you, they would have used your fear against me. Ravi frowned. Use me against you. Who are these hunters? What do they want? Era sat on a stone near the glowing flowers, her silver hair falling around her like a curtain. "They are called the Dark Veil. Long ago, they fought my people. They destroyed our cities, our skies, everything we had. I am one of the last left. To them, I am a weapon they must either control or erase." Ravi listened carefully, feeling a strange mixture of anger and sympathy. "So, they want your power," Era nodded. "The energy I carry, it is tied to this moon. Orion 6 was once a place of harmony, but now it's a battlefield. If I fall into their hands, they will use me to destroy other worlds. That is why I cannot trust anyone, not even humans." Ravi crouched down to meet her eyes. "But I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not like them. Maybe I can help you escape." Era's gaze lingered on him, as if she was trying to read his heart. "Why do you care? Humans are always afraid of what they do not understand. You should fear me too." Ravi smiled faintly. "Maybe I should. But I don't. I think you're more than what you believe. You're not just a weapon, Era. You're alive, and you deserve to live free." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The glowing river nearby flowed softly, casting a silver light on their faces. Era finally looked away. "Your heart is strange, Ravi, but the Dark Veil won't stop. They will send more, and if you stay, you will be hunted too." "Then I guess I'll have to run with you," Ravi said with a grin. Era's lips curved into the faintest smile, a fragile, almost forgotten gesture. "You're foolish," she whispered, but there was warmth in her tone. Before Ravi could answer, his communicator crackled. "Ravi, where are you?" It was his team's voice, worried and sharp. Ravi glanced at Era. "My team. They're close. We can reach them and get off this moon before more hunters come." Era's face grew tense. "No, if I go with you, the Dark Veil will follow. They will attack your ship. Your people will die. Then we'll find another way," Ravi said firmly. "I'm not letting them take you." Era looked at him as if she couldn't believe his words. "You don't understand the danger. If I lose control, I can harm even you. Then I'll just have to trust you," Ravi replied, holding out his hand. For a moment, Era hesitated, staring at his hand as if it was a strange object. Then, slowly, she reached out and touched it. Her skin was cool and smooth, glowing faintly in the dim light. "Fine," she said softly, "but when the time comes, you may regret standing with me." Ravi squeezed her hand gently. "We'll see about that." The night on Orion 6 deepened as they began moving through the forest together. Unknown to them, far above in the orbiting darkness, more hunter ships of the Dark Veil were descending. The red glow from the hunter ships spread across the silver forest like fire. Ravi and Era moved swiftly, their footsteps soft against the glowing moss. But the hum of engines above grew louder. "They're scanning for me," Era said, glancing up at the sky. Her silver eyes flickered with unease. "If the beams touch me, they will know exactly where I am." Ravi tightened his grip on her hand. "Then we just stay ahead of them. My team's camp is less than a kilometer away. Your team will be in danger," Era warned. "The Dark Veil doesn't care who they hurt. If they think your people are hiding me, they will attack without mercy." Ravi looked at her firmly. "Then we'll make sure they don't find you." The camp came into view, its lights faint against the bright glow of the moon's surface. 3 of Ravi's teammates were gathered around a portable scanner, looking tense. When they saw him emerge from the trees, relief washed over their faces. "Ravi, where have you been?" shouted Mira, the team's communications officer. She was small but sharp, with quick eyes that noticed everything. Ravi slowed down, glancing at Era. "There's no time to explain. We have to leave. Now." Mira frowned. "What's going on?" Before Ravi could answer, the air filled with a mechanical screech. A dark shape broke through the tree line, a hunter drone, larger than the ones Era had destroyed earlier. Its red light scanned the area like a predator's eyes. Era stiffened, her body glowing faintly. "They found us," she whispered. The team stared at her, their expression shifting from confusion to shock. Who is she?" asked Dev, the team's engineer. "No time," Ravi said, his voice firm. "She's with me. We have to move or we're all dead." The drone swooped closer, aiming its weapons. With a low hum, It fired a beam of red energy straight toward the camp. The team scattered as the ground exploded where they had been standing. Ravi turned to Era. Can you stop it? Era's silver eyes locked on the drone. I can try, she said, but her tone held uncertainty. She raised her hand slowly, the glow round her intensifying. The ground beneath her feet shimmered, and the plants around her bent as if responding to her will. A sudden wave of energy shot from her body, slamming into the drone and throwing it backward into the trees with a loud crash. The team stared, speechless. Did she just do that? Mira asked, her eyes wide. Yes, Ravi said. And we better thank her later, if we survive. The forest trembled again as more hunter ships descended. Era's face was pale, her glow dimming slightly. There are too many, she whispered. I cannot hold them all off. My power is not endless. Ravi grabbed her arm. Then we don't fight them head on. We run. The team quickly packed their gear and followed Ravi and Era into the dense forest. The sound of metal claws cutting through branches echoed behind them as more drones landed. Ravi. What's happening? Who's this girl? Why are these things after us? Mira demanded as they ran. She's not the enemy, Ravi said. The machines are. They want her for some reason. We just have to get to the shuttle before they catch us. But the hunters were fast. Within minutes, 3 drones closed in from different directions, cutting off their path. The team stopped abruptly, breathing hard. They surrounded us, Dev said, his voice shaking. Era stepped forward, her hands glowing once more. Stay behind me, she said quietly. Wait, what are you going to do? Ravi asked. Whatever I must. Era replied, her voice low but steady. The drones fired beams of energy. Era lifted her hands, and a shimmering barrier of light appeared, absorbing the blasts. The ground shook, and the silver leaves around them vibrated as if in fear. Era's glow grew brighter, and with a cry, she unleashed a wave of pure energy. The blast was like a silent explosion. The 3 drones were flung backward, their metal shells cracking as they slammed into trees. But the energy didn't stop. There, the shockwave rippled through the forest, tearing branches and scattering glowing leaves like sparks. Ravi felt the power like a hot wind against his face. Era, stop, he shouted. Worried she might lose control, Era's eyes were burning bright, and for a moment, it looked like the power would consume everything around her. But then she took a deep breath, lowered her hands, and the glow faded. The forest fell silent once more, except for the sound of the team's heavy breathing. Mira stared at Era, stunned. What is she? She's someone we need to protect, Ravi said firmly. Now let's keep moving before more of those things show up. Era looked at him, her expression unreadable. You are not afraid of me. Even after seeing that, Ravi shook his head. No, you're not the monster here. Those machines are. Era said nothing, but a strange emotion flickered in her eyes, something like gratitude, mixed with disbelief. The group pushed forward, the glowing river guiding their path. The shuttle was still some distance away, but Ravi knew they had to make it before the larger hunter fleet arrived. Ravi, Dev whispered, glancing at Era, if she's this powerful, won't she just bring more trouble for us? Maybe we should. He trailed off when Ravi shot him a sharp look. We're not leaving her behind, Ravi said. End of discussion. Era's gaze softened at his words, though she said nothing. As they neared the edge of the forest, the ground trembled again, not from Era this time, but from something far larger. A massive hunter craft, shaped like a dark blade, descended from the sky. Its engines roared like thunder, and its red light scanned the ground below. Era's face grew pale. That is a collector, she whispered. If it locks onto me, there will be no escape. The team froze, staring at the enormous ship. It was easily 10 times the size of their shuttle. Bristling with weapons and strange energy devices, Ravi took a deep breath. Then we need a plan. Mira looked at him incredulously. A plan against that thing? Yeah, Ravi said, because running isn't enough anymore. Era stepped closer to him, her silver glow faint but steady. If I use all my power, I can destroy it, but I may not survive the backlash. Ravi turned to her sharply. No, we'll find another way. Era's eyes softened. You don't understand, Ravi. This is what I am, a shield, a weapon. If I must burn to keep you safe, I will. Not while I'm here, Ravi said firmly. We fight smart, not suicidal. The hunter ship's lights grew brighter as it scanned their location. The team braced themselves, fear gripping their hearts. The massive hunter ship hovered above the glowing forest like a dark predator. Its shadow swallowed the light of the silver trees, and the sound of its engines was like rolling thunder. The red scanning beams swept across the ground, painting everything in their crimson glow. Ravi and his team crouched behind a cluster of tall rocks, their shuttle still half a kilometer away. Era stood beside Ravi, her silver eyes reflecting the red light. Her face calm but tense. They are looking for me, Era said quietly. They know I am here. Then we have to stay out of sight, Mira whispered, her voice trembling. We're not equipped to fight something like that. Dev shook his head, his hand gripping the handle of the scanning drone he carried. Even if we reach the shuttle, they'll shoot us down before we can leave. Ravi glanced at Era. She didn't look afraid, but there was a heaviness in her eyes, as if she had faced this threat many times before. Era, he said, is there a way to block their scans? Era hesitated, then shook her head. Not with your technology, but there is something else, a place nearby that hides my energy, a place they cannot sense. Where? Ravi asked quickly. She pointed toward the east, where the forest grew darker and the glowing rivers twisted like snakes. There is an ancient ruin. My people called it the Heart of Orion. It was built to protect this world's core energy. If we reach it, the dark veil will not see us. Mira's eyes widened. Heart of Orion. That sounds dangerous. Era looked at her calmly. It is only dangerous if someone tries to wake it. But we will be safe inside. Ravi made a decision. Then we're going there. We can't risk running in the open with that thing overhead. The group moved carefully through the forest, guided by Era's knowledge of the land. The glowing moss lit their path, but the red beams from the hunter ship kept sweeping dangerously close. At one point, a drone broke through the trees, its lens locking on them. Before Ravi could react, Era raised her hand, and the ground beneath the drone erupted with glowing vines that wrapped around it and crushed it like a tin can. You make it look easy, Ravi whispered. Era didn't answer. Her expression was serious, her focus sharp. After half an hour of moving through twisting paths, they reached a valley surrounded by massive stone pillars. The ruins looked ancient, with strange symbols glowing faintly on the walls. At the center stood a huge stone gate, half buried in moss and roots. It looked like it hadn't been touched for thousands of years. This is it, Era said softly. The Heart of Orion lies beyond this gate. Dev ran his hand over one of the stone pillars. This isn't natural. These markings, they almost look like a language. They are, Era replied, the language of my people. It speaks of the balance between life and power. The heart was built to guard the core energy of this moon. That energy now lives in me. Ravi frowned. What do you mean? In you? Era met his gaze. When the dark veil attacked long ago, the Guardians transferred the energy into a living vessel, me. I am both the protector and the key to the heart. If they capture me, they can unlock power strong enough to destroy worlds. Mira stepped back, her face pale. Wait, you're saying you carry a weapon inside you? Era's voice was calm. It is not a weapon unless it is used as one. My people used it to heal and create. The Dark Veil wants to turn it into destruction. Ravi looked at her with a mix of awe and worry. So that's why they're after you? Era nodded. Yes, and that is why I told you to fear me. If I lose control, the energy inside me could consume everything around me. The team stood in silence, the weight of her words sinking. And finally, Ravi stepped closer to the gate. Then we just make sure that doesn't happen. We stay in control. Together. Era looked at him, her silver eyes softening. You speak as if it is simple. Maybe it isn't, Ravi said with a small smile. But I believe you're stronger than you think. Era looked down, as if trying to hide a faint smile. But then her gaze shifted to the gate. We need to enter. The heart will shield US from their scans. She placed her glowing hands on the stone gate. The markings on the pillars began to shine brighter, as if responding to her presence. The ground trembled slightly, and the massive gate slowly slid open, revealing a wide hallway filled with a warm golden light. The team followed her inside, their footsteps echoing softly against the stone floor. As they entered, the sound of the hunter ship faded, as though the ruins themselves were swallowing the outside noise. "This place," Mira whispered, looking round. "It feels alive." "It is," Era said. "The heart is the pulse of Orion 6, even after my people fell. It still beats, waiting for its protector." They reached a large chamber at the end of the hallway. In the center was a crystal-like structure, glowing with soft light, suspended in midair by invisible energy. It pulsed like a heartbeat, sending ripples of light across the walls. Era approached it slowly. "This is the heart. It is the reason I exist." Ravi followed her, standing just a step behind. "What happens if the Dark Veil gets here?" "They will try to drain its energy," Era said. "If they succeed, this moon will die, and they will have enough power to destroy countless worlds. I cannot allow that." Her voice grew quiet, but her hands clenched as if the thought alone filled her with fear. Ravi placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore. We'll fight them together." She looked up at him, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "Why do you keep saying that? Why do you trust me?" "Because I can see who you really are," Ravi said softly. "You're not a monster. You're someone who's trying to protect what's left of her home." For a moment, Era's expression softened, but before she could speak, the ruins shook violently. The walls trembled, and dust fell from the ceiling. "They found us," Era whispered. "The collector ship is above." The red light of a scanning beam broke through the cracks in the ruins. The sound of drills and claws scraping against stone filled the air. "They're trying to break in," Dev shouted. Era stepped in front of the heart, her body glowing brighter than before. "They must not reach it." Ravi pulled out his communicator. "Team, get the shuttle ready for launch. If we have to fight, we'll do it here." Mira looked at Era nervously. "What if she loses control?" "She won't," Ravi said, his voice steady. "Not while I'm here." Era turned to him, her glow illuminating her face like a silver flame. "Then stand ready, Ravi, because the next battle will decide everything." The ground beneath the ruins shook like a beating drum, as the Dark Veil's collector ship anchored itself above the valley. Red beams of light cut through the cracks in the ceiling, filling the chamber with an eerie glow. The humming sound of the ship was so strong that the stone walls seemed to vibrate. Era stood before the heart of Orion, her silver hair glowing like threads of light. Ravi and his team took cover near the stone pillars, weapons ready, though they all knew their human tools were weak against such advanced machines. "They are coming," Era said softly, her voice calm but heavy. "This time, they will not send just drones. They will come themselves. Then we fight here," Ravi said, standing beside her. "We hold them off until we find a way to escape." Era turned her eyes to him, silver and bright like twin moons. "Do you still not fear me? You saw what I did to those machines. You saw the power I carry." "I'm not afraid of you," Ravi replied firmly. "I'm afraid of losing you." For a moment, Era's expression softened, but the sound of grinding metal above broke the moment. The ceiling cracked open, and 3 hunter drones dropped into the chamber, their sharp metal limbs cutting into the stone floor. "Get down," Ravi shouted as one of the drones fired a red energy beam. Across the room, the team scattered behind the stone columns for cover. Era stepped forward, her hands glowing brighter than before. The crystal at the center of the heart pulsed in response, sending waves of light through the chamber as if it recognized her. The drones shifted their aim toward her, but before they could fire, Era raised both hands, and a wall of shimmering light erupted in front of her. The energy beams struck the barrier and dissolved like smoke. With a swift motion, Era sent a shock wave of power that blasted one of the drones into the wall, crushing it instantly. Mira's voice shook with awe. She's incredible." Ravi didn't take his eyes off Era. "She's more than incredible." 2 more drones advanced, moving faster, firing blasts of energy that cracked the stone floor. Ravi grabbed a metal rod from their gear and charged toward one drone. Swinging hard to knock its weapon aside, Ravi, no, Mira shouted, but he didn't stop. The drone turned its lens toward him, ready to fire, but Era's hand shot forward, and a vine of glowing energy wrapped around the machine, pulling it down. With another gesture, she crushed it into scrap. You don't need to fight with your hands, Era said, almost scolding him, though her voice trembled with concern. Maybe not, Ravi said with a grin, but I like helping. The last drone hovered near the heart, scanning it with its red light. Era's eyes widened. No, she cried, and with a wave of her hand, a blast of pure white energy shot from her palm, striking the drone and melting it into glowing fragments. The chamber grew silent again. The floor was cracked, smoke rising from the broken machines, but Era's glow did not fade. She was breathing hard, her eyes shining too brightly. The heart of Orion pulsed faster, as if her energy and the crystal's power were merging. Era? Ravi said, stepping closer. You need to rest. You're burning yourself out. She shook her head. I can feel them. They're not done. The collector ship, it's preparing something worse. As if to confirm her words, the ruins trembled again. A sharp, metallic screech filled the air, followed by the sound of something heavy slamming into the ground outside. Dev peeked out from a crack in the wall. His face went pale. You might want to see this. Ravi ran to the opening and looked out. His stomach dropped. A massive figure was approaching the ruins. A hunter unit far larger than any drone they'd seen. It stood on two thick, mechanical legs with sharp arms like blades. Its chest glowed red with energy, and its head was a single, unblinking red eye. What is that thing? Mira whispered, fear clear in her voice. A guardian, Era said quietly. The dark veil only sends it when they mean to end everything. The guardian stepped closer, each footstep making the ground shake. With one swing of its blade-like arm, it cut down a tree as if it were paper. Then its red eye focused on the ruins, scanning the structure like a predator finding its prey. We can't fight that, Dev said nervously. Yes, we can, Ravi replied. He turned to Era. Right? Era's expression was serious. With my power, I can destroy it. But if I call upon the heart of Orion to do so, I might not survive. Ravi stepped in front of her. Then we find another way. I'm not letting you sacrifice yourself. She looked at him for a long moment, her lips parting as if to argue. But then the Guardian roared, a deep, mechanical sound that shook the chamber. The Guardian fired a red beam at the ruins, blasting part of the stone wall. Era raised her hands, creating a barrier to protect the heart. Sparks and dust filled the air. Get to the shuttle. Ravi shouted to his team. Now, what about you? Mira asked. I'll hold them off with Era. Ravi said, go. The team hesitated, but another blast from the Guardian forced them to retreat toward the shuttle. Era's glow intensified, her eyes like twin suns now. She turned to Ravi. Why do you stay? You will die if you remain. Ravi smiled faintly. Maybe, but I don't want to live knowing I left you behind. For a second, Era's face softened. You're foolish, she whispered. Maybe, Ravi replied, but I'm with you. The Guardian broke through the ruins, stepping into the chamber. Its red eye fixed on Era, and its blade arm rose. Humming with deadly energy, Era's hands glowed brighter as she gathered power. The heart of Orion pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, the light filling the entire chamber. Ravi, she said softly, stay behind me. This will be dangerous. Not a chance, Ravi said. Standing at her side, Era gave him one last look, a mix of warning and gratitude, and then she unleashed her power. A blast of pure white energy erupted from her hands, colliding with the Guardian's beam in a clash of light and sound that shook the entire ruin. Sparks flew, and the ground cracked beneath their feet. Ravi shielded his eyes from the brightness, but he didn't move. He could see Era struggling, her face pale, her body trembling under the pressure. Era, he shouted, you don't have to do this alone. She turned her head slightly, and for the first time, her lips curved into a small, tired smile. Maybe, I don't. The Guardian's red energy beam clashed with Era's white light, filling the chamber with a storm of colors. Sparks rained down as the two powers collided, shaking the ruins like a living heartbeat. The heart of Orion pulsed in sync with Era, each pulse making her glow brighter, but Ravi could see the strain on her face. Ravi. Era said through gritted teeth, "Get back. I cannot hold this much longer." But Ravi refused to move. "No, you don't have to face it alone. Tell me what I can do to help." Era shook her head, sweat glistening on her pale skin. "This power, it is not for humans. If you touch it, it could harm you." "Then I'll take the risk," Ravi said firmly. "You said this energy is alive, right? Maybe it just needs more than one heart to guide it." Her silver eyes widened at his words. For a brief moment, the Guardian's beam pushed her energy back, forcing her to stumble. Ravi quickly stepped forward, placing his hand over hers. The moment he touched her, he felt a surge of warmth and light, like fire and lightning flowing through his veins. His mind flooded with strange visions, stars collapsing, forests blooming, and endless oceans glowing with life. It was as if the heart of Orion was looking at him, testing his resolve. Era gasped, but instead of pushing him away, she let his hand stay. The white energy around her flared brighter, now mixed with a faint golden glow that came from Ravi's touch. The Guardian roared, its red eye flashing. It took a step closer, forcing more energy into its attack, but the combined power of Era and Ravi began to push the beam back. The clash of lights filled the chamber like a second sun rising. "You're helping me," Era whispered, astonished. "Your heart, it's strong enough to guide the energy." "Then let's finish this together," Ravi said, his voice firm. They pushed forward, their combined energy forming a spear of light that struck the Guardian's chest. The metal giant shuddered, its red eye flickering. With a final burst of power, the Guardian exploded into shards of molten metal, the pieces scattering across the chamber like falling stars. The shockwave knocked both Ravi and Era to the ground. The ruins trembled, and for a moment, all was silent except for their heavy breathing. Ravi sat up, his body aching from the energy surge. "Era, are you okay?" Era lay on the ground, her glow fading slightly, but she smiled weakly. I am fine. You shared the energy with me. No one has ever done that before." Ravi helped her sit up. "I told you, I'm not afraid of you. We're stronger together." She looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to read the truth in his eyes. Then she nodded softly. "Maybe you were right," before they could catch their breath. Mira's voice crackled through the communicator. "Ravi, are you alive?" "We saw a giant explosion from the shuttle." "We're fine," Ravi replied, "but the Guardian is gone. We need to leave before the collector ship sends more." Dev's voice chimed in. "Easier said than done. That big ship is still hovering over the valley. We can't take off without getting shot down." Era stood slowly, leaning on Ravi's shoulder for support. "Then we must shield your shuttle. The heart of Orion can do that, but it will require another surge of energy." Ravi frowned. "Will it hurt you?" Era smiled faintly. "Not if you help me again." They moved quickly back through the ruins toward the entrance. The heart pulsed behind them like a living flame, its light dimming slightly as if it had given much of its strength during the fight. Era placed her hand on one of the stone walls, whispering something in her language, and the gate closed behind them. Outside, the night was filled with the crimson glow of the collector's ship. Its massive form hovered like a dark blade over the valley, scanning for survivors. "Stay close," Era said, holding Ravi's hand again. "We will reach the shuttle, but you must trust me completely." Ravi smirked. "Haven't I been doing that since we met?" Era tilted her head slightly, almost as if confused by his humor, but she said nothing. They reached the shuttle, where Mira and Dev were waiting nervously. Both froze when they saw Era glowing faintly like a silver flame. Is she even real?" Mira whispered. "She's the reason we're alive," Ravi said. "Get the engines ready. We're going to need full power." Dev shook his head. "Even at full power, we can't break through that thing's shields. That's wire is going to help," Ravi said with confidence. Era walked toward the shuttle, placing her hand on its outer hull. The metal began to glow faintly as her energy flowed through it. "Your ship will carry part of my light," she explained. It will become invisible to the hunter's scans for a short time. Mira blinked. You can do that, Era nodded. Yes, but I will need Ravi's help again. Ravi placed his hand over hers, feeling the warmth of her power again. This time, the energy didn't burn as much as before. It felt smoother. Like the two of them were in sync. The shuttle's entire frame lit up with a soft gold and silver hue. Go, Era said, stepping back. You have only a few minutes. Before the shield fades, Ravi frowned. What about you? I will come, Era said, her voice quiet but steady. But I must hold the shield until you are clear. Then we go together. Ravi said firmly, no way I'm leaving. You behind, Era looked at him, her silver eyes softening. You're stubborn. And you're stuck with me, he said with a grin. The team climbed aboard the shuttle, and Era stepped inside as well, her glow filling the cabin. Mira stared at her for a moment but said nothing, simply nodding in silent respect. The engines roared to life. As they lifted off, the collector ship's red light swept across the valley. But the shuttle, cloaked in Era's light, slipped past unnoticed for a moment. It seemed like they might escape, but then the collector's ship roared, as if sensing something. A massive cannon began charging on its underside, glowing with dangerous energy. They're going to fire, Dev shouted. Era's expression hardened. Then I will shield you. She placed her hands against the walls of the shuttle, and a dome of silver light formed around them. The cannon fired, a beam of red energy shooting straight at them, but the shield held. The beam bent around them like water breaking against a rock. Ravi held her arm. You're amazing, Era. Era smiled faintly. We're amazing. The shuttle shot past the collector's ship, leaving its crimson glow behind. But just as they cleared the upper atmosphere, Era's glow flickered. Her body swayed, and Ravi caught her before she could fall. You used too much energy, he said, his voice filled with concern. I will recover, she whispered. As long as you are here, I will recover. The shuttle cut through the upper layers of Orion 6's atmosphere, leaving behind the glowing forests, the ruins of the heart, and the crimson shadow of the collector's ship. Inside the cabin, silence settled over the crew, broken only by the hum of the engines. Everyone was exhausted. Ravi sat next to Era, who leaned against the wall, her glow now faint, like a fading star. She looked weak, but her silver eyes still carried a quiet strength. Ravi's hand hovered near hers, unsure if she wanted comfort or silence. You're safe now, he said softly. We all are. Thanks to you. Era tilted her head slightly. Safe? Her voice was soft but thoughtful. The dark veil will not stop here. They will follow the heart of Orion's energy. And me, wherever I go, they will come. Mira, sitting across from them, frowned. So you're saying this isn't over? No, Era replied. This was only the beginning. Dev, who was busy checking the ship's systems, turned to. Look at her. If they're that powerful, what can we even do? We barely survived this one fight. Era closed her eyes for a moment. Your kind is something mine did not. Hope. I have seen it in Ravi. He believes in something beyond fear, perhaps. That is what we need. Ravi looked a little surprised but smiled. Hope isn't just my thing. Humans are stubborn. We don't give up easily, even when the odds are impossible. The shuttle broke free of the moon's gravitational pull, and the stars stretched across the blackness of space. Mira adjusted the navigation panel. We're clear of Orion 6. Should I set a course back to the station? Not yet, Ravi said, glancing at Era. She's right. They'll follow her energy. If we go straight back, we could lead them to more humans. Era nodded in agreement. The Dark Veil scanners can detect my energy across light years if I do not hide it. I need to learn how to control it better, or they will never stop hunting us. Mira raised an eyebrow. And how do we do that? It's not like we have a manual for alien energy powers. Era's silver gaze shifted to Ravi. There's a place, a world that my people once used as a sanctuary. It is far, but if we reach it, I can train there. I can learn to be something more than just a weapon. Ravi leaned forward. Then that's where we'll go. We'll take you there. The crew exchanged glances. Dev scratched his head. You're serious? We're just going to change our mission. Yes, Ravi said, his tone leaving no room for argument. She saved our lives more than once. We owe her this much. Mira looked at Era for a long moment and finally sighed. All right, but I expect some answers along the way. Era gave a small, almost shy nod. I will tell you what I can. Hours passed as the shuttle glided through the quiet emptiness of space. Era sat near one of the windows, staring at the stars as if they carried old memories. Ravi walked over and sat beside her. You miss it, don't you? Your people, Ravi said softly. She turned to him, her expression calm but sad. I do not remember all their faces anymore. I was young when the Dark Veil came. They took everything. For me, sometimes I wonder if I am the last Alaran left. You're not alone anymore, Ravi said. You have us now, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Era studied his face for a long moment, as if trying to understand why he cared so much. Why do you protect me so fiercely? You owe me nothing. Ravi smiled faintly. Maybe because I see someone worth protecting. Not because of your powers, but because of who you are. For the first time, Era looked away, as if hiding a small smile. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. Mira's hands flew over the controls. We've got company. Something's trailing us. Ravi stood, his body tensing. The Dark Veil. Dev. Check the readings. No, it's not a hunter ship. Looks like a patrol vessel from the station. They must have tracked our distress signal. Mira frowned. That's good news, isn't it? Era shook her head. Not if they know about me. Humans may fear me too, just like the ones who came to Orion 6 long ago. Ravi turned to Mira. We don't tell them anything about Era. Not until we know who we can trust. Mira hesitated but nodded. All right, but this is going to get complicated. The patrol vessel hailed them, asking for a status report. Ravi responded calmly, saying only that their mission was attacked by rogue machines. He avoided mentioning Era or the heart of Orion. Era remained silent, her silver glow dimmed, as if trying to make herself invisible. When the call ended, Ravi looked at her. You're safe. I won't let them see you as a threat. She tilted her head slightly. You risk much for me. Human. Call me Ravi, he said with a grin. And I'd risk a lot more than this later. When the patrol ship left, the crew sat together in the small cabin. Dev finally broke the silence. So, what happens now? We take her to that sanctuary world and then what? We just walk away. Ravi looked at Era, then at his team. We don't walk away. We're part of this now. If the Dark Veil is as dangerous as she says, we can't ignore it. Mira crossed her arms. You're talking about war with something we barely understand. Not war, Ravi said. But if we stand by and do nothing, they'll destroy more than just Orion 6. Maybe more than just this sector of space. Era's silver eyes softened as she looked at him. You speak like a guardian, Ravi. Perhaps you were meant to find me. The stars outside the windows stretched as Mira set a course toward the sanctuary world Era had described. For the first time since the battle, a calm silence filled the shuttle. Ravi leaned back in his seat, watching Era as she closed her eyes, resting. She didn't look like a weapon now. She looked like someone who had carried too much pain alone. For too long. Sleep, Ravi whispered. I'll keep watch. Hours later, as the ship drifted through the quiet expanse, Era woke and sat beside Ravi again. She looked at him with a mix of curiosity and gratitude. You are not like the others I have met, she said softly. Maybe that's a good thing, Ravi replied with a smile. But I think we're going to need each other for whatever's coming next. Era nodded slowly. Then I will stay. I will fight for your kind. Just as you fought for me. Ravi extended his hand, and she hesitated for only a moment before placing her glowing hand in his. Together, Ravi said. Together. Era repeated, and for the first time, her voice carried something new. Hope.